Hello Booktube, welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth and this is going to be another book haul. I did quite a bit of book shopping in the latter part of August and all through September. I went to some library book sales. I also went to some bookstores that I had never been to, as well as some that I had been to before. And I want to say thank you to Shay from, they call me Shay-Shay Girl, because she told me about her library that is up in a county north of Orlando and about a bookstore that was nearby. And when I was looking it up online, I discovered that that same bookstore also has an Overstock location that's only open on Saturdays. So I went on the day that the Orlando Public Library was having their half price sale. Then I went on up to Shay's library and I managed to get in the door just about 15 minutes before they closed. And then I went to both of the other bookstore locations. So I got quite a bit of books there. And then the next weekend I went to the Kissimmee Library where they had a fill a bag for $2 sale. So I got quite a bit of fun books. Most of the books from this haul are going to be fantasy, but since the majority of the fantasy books are middle grade and YA, I'm going ahead and throwing in the rest of the middle grade and books for younger readers that I bought, even if they're not fantasy. So this is basically fantasy and middle grade. So let's start with the non-fantasy middle grade books, and then I will move into the fantasy middle grade books, and then the YA and the adult fantasy. I got one nonfiction book, and I thought this was interesting. Recycle This Book. It is 100 top children's book authors tell how to go green, and it's edited by Dan Gutman. It has little tips from all of these different children's book authors. So I thought this would be really interesting. I love recycling and doing everything we can to protect our environment, so I thought I would enjoy this. At the bookstore that I went to on the day of the big book shopping, my oldest daughter Emily was with me, and so I had to buy at least one book for her. I got, and this is what she picked out, Princess Puppy by Burnett Ford. If you're new to my channel, my oldest daughter Emily has autism and epilepsy. She reads on a first grade level, and she enjoys storybooks and picture books, so this is the kind of stuff that she enjoys reading. But my youngest daughter Katie, who's 12, is an avid reader, and she's already read the first one in this series, which has to do with being 11. So this one's called Finally 12, and the series is by Wendy Mass, and so I thought I better get her this book while she's still 12 so she can read it. This is one that I've already read, and I can't remember if I have it in my collection or not. If I already have it, then I will put this in a little free library, but this is definitely a wonderful book. I enjoyed the movie and the book, and so I will probably pass this on to a teacher or to the little free library. I've read City of Ember, and I've listened to The People of Sparks on audio. These are by Jean Dupre. I have the fourth book, and now, so the third book is the one I need to read next, and I haven't been able to find it anywhere. But Katie hasn't read this one, so I picked this up with her in mind, and eventually I'll probably pass this on to someone else. Here's a Gary Paulson book I didn't have to add to my Gary Paulson collection. It's called Canyons. I've read this one before, The Dark Frigate by Charles Boardman Hawes. This is the third Newbery book ever from the 1920s, and I think I have a copy already, but I will probably pass this on to a teacher or put it in the little free library. This is a Newbery winner that I particularly enjoyed, and I did not have a copy. This is The Bronze Bow by Elizabeth George Spear. You may recall that she also wrote The Witch of Blackbird Pond, so she is one of the few people who have won the Newbery Medal twice. When I saw this book by Vera and Bill Cleaver called The Kissimmee Kid, I decided I wanted to pick it up. I got one other book by them not too long ago because they are the author of Where the Lilies Bloom, which was a popular movie when I was growing up, and I don't even know if I've read the book, but I really enjoyed it as a kid, and so did my mom, and this one takes place in Florida. I live not too far from Kissimmee, so I wanted to pick this up. And I found a couple more Happy Hollister books. One of them I do already own, At Mystery Mountain, and so I'll probably put this one on eBay. And this one has some damage on the cover, but I did not have this one. It's called The Happy Hollisters and the Punch and Judy Mystery. These are by Jerry West, and this is the first book series that I ever remember reading. I started reading these in third grade because my teacher had some, and I had already read everything else on her in her storybook shelf, and so she directed me to these chapter books. These are the first chapter books that I remember reading, and really the first series. I believe I started reading these before I ever read any Little House books. So when I find these, I can't resist picking them up. I've collected about a dozen or so now, and I want to go back and reread them because I think it will bring back a lot of childhood nostalgia. I think at the Fillabag sale, I picked up the Phantom Tollbooth by Norton Juster. Just last night I was looking up what I still needed to read for the Pop Sugar Ultimate Reading Challenge, and one of the books, one of the prompts is to read a book of satire, and this is on the list. So I'm happy that I picked this one up because I will be able to read this for that challenge. I found an Oz book that I didn't have, that I haven't read. This is The Road to Oz by L. Frank Baum. These are the first 4 books in the second 39 Clues series, which is Cahill's versus Vespers. Book 1 is called The Medusa Plot. I have read this one. Book 2 is A King's Ransom. I've listened to this on audio, but the audio was really messed up, and ever since then I've been meaning to go back and read the book. So now I have it. And to continue on with that series, The Dead of Night. And book 4, Shatterproof. I found these at a thrift store for I think about $1 a piece, so I was excited to find them. And they are in very good condition. I got a couple of books by Catherine Lasky. Book 1 of the Guardians of GaHoole series, The Capture. I mentioned in an earlier video that I have a few of these, and I think I'm going to go ahead and try to collect the ones I don't have and give these to my sister's grandson Tate for a Christmas gift. So I knew I needed book 1, and so I grabbed it. And then this is another series that I need to finish reading, and if he likes Guardians of GaHoole, then I'll probably pass these on to him as well. This is the Wolves of the Beyond series. This one's called Spirit Wolf, and this is book 5. So far, book 4 is the only one I don't have, and that's the one I need to read. So I hope I find it soon. This is the only one of the Moon books by Susan Beth Pfeffer that we didn't have. This is the 4th one, called The Shade of the Moon. And I've heard, Katie's read all of these. I've only read the first one. I've heard that the 4th one is really not nearly as good as the first 3. But we had the other 3, so Katie wanted to collect the series. And I found these at the Bright Light bookstore that's in Castleberry, Florida, that I mentioned going to, that Shay told me about. It was only $4, and it's in like new condition, so I decided to pick it up. A couple of other books for Katie from the Warrior series. This one is called Tales from the Clans, and I believe this is some short stories. The Warrior series is by Aaron Hunter. And then she was with me one day at a library sale, and it was a fill-a-bag sale, and we found this like-new book. This is one of the field guides called Secrets of the Clans, and I was glad that she was with me because I didn't know if she had this one or not. So she didn't, and so she was happy to have it. And Katie got some other Harry Potter books. She's trying to collect the whole series in this, the original paperback editions. She bought a couple on her own. She already had, the first one she actually bought with her own money was book 3. And then she bought book 6 on our vacation. And since then, I have found a few more. I found book 4 for her at a used bookstore. And I found the first one at Bright Light Books. And I found the second one at our library book sale. And then, of course, since she's read all of the books twice now, she had to have this one. So this is one of the rare times I have bought a brand new book. Of course, this is Harry Potter and the Cursed Child by J.K. Rowling. And I don't know what she thought about it. I'm not sure if she liked it or not. I know there's mixed reviews about it. But I'm going to, of course, finish reading all the Harry Potter books before I read this one myself. I was really excited to find at a library bookstore Reisinger by Christopher Paolini. This is the only one of the Eragon series that I did not have. I'd been looking all over the place for it. I was just about ready to order it on Amazon, but I found it for $1. And then at the Kissimmee book sale, which was fill-a-bag for $2, I found this, Illuminate by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. Now, my husband and I have both read this. Katie hasn't read it, so I'll probably hang on to it long enough for her to read it. But then I may put it on eBay because it looks like they're selling for a pretty decent amount online. And so I think we could probably sell it. But I just, I was like, well, I've read it already, but it was fill-a-bag for $2, and I couldn't just leave this book behind. I can't remember where I found these books. I think I got these at the same fill-a-bag sale. Katie and I have both read The Testing, and we are excited to read the rest of the trilogy, but I knew lately she's been really enjoying rereading books, so I went ahead and got this for her. This is by Joelle Charbonneau. And then also I picked up a copy of Defy by Sarah Larson. She has read this whole trilogy this summer, and so she's already reread this one since I got it for her, so she's not letting them go to waste. Another one I found at Bright Light Books. This was in their clearance store for $1. This is Peter and the Shadow Thieves by Dave Ferry and Ridley Pearson. I already have Peter and the Starcatchers, and so but I didn't have any others in the series. I've listened to that whole series on audio, and I loved it, and I would really like to reread them, and I would like for Katie to read them. I don't think she's read any of them yet. She may have read Peter and the Starcatchers, but I don't think she's read any more in the series. So I wanted to pick this one up because I couldn't believe what a great deal it was. All right, a couple of other adult books. I found A Ship of Magic for, I think, like 50 cents. I have the other two Life Ship Traders books in hardback, and if I ever run across a hardcover book that's in decent condition, I'll pick it up and replace this one. But this was only 50 cents at a thrift store, so I just decided to go ahead and get it so that if I get to this point in the books, I will have a copy. And strangely enough, our library does not have very many Robin Hobb books. That's why I've been going ahead and collecting them when I find them, because I want to be able to read them all in the order that they were written. A couple years ago, Katie got interested in Jurassic Park, and we watched all the movies. Then not too long ago, I found a copy of The Lost World, and I brought it to her, and she goes, "Oh, I didn't know that was a book." And I said, "Oh, well, you should read them then." So I picked up a copy of Jurassic Park, and as I was going through the fill-a-bag sale, I struck up a conversation with a mom and her son, and she had read several Michael Crichton books, and so she handed me this one, and this is more of a medical mystery, I think, but she said this is one that she particularly enjoyed, and it's called A Case of Need, and so she handed it to me and recommended that I read it, so I put it in my bag as well. So that is all of my middle grade and fantasy and middle grade fantasy books that I picked up in late August and through September. And I've got some other haul videos of other genres, so I hope you'll stay tuned to my channel. And that's all I have for this video. Hope you're having a great day, read a good book, and God bless you.